Well, welcome back to Cannon Fodder. Rather belatedly, a bit like Arsenal. Like a bus. You wait for a bus and you see two, three, four, five at the same time, but we're not a bus. We're a channel. We're a channel. Welcome back to a one-off transfer show. We've got two familiar faces and one debutant on this one-off transfer show. And yeah, we're going to see how this one goes. It's supposed to be 1 hour. Oh dear. But we're going to get into this one on the other side. Well, all the intros, the formal introductions on the other side of this music intro. Yeah, so we are back. We are live. Yeah, so some technical problems, mainly on my part, but forget about that. Let's do the formal introductions. So, Richard, how are you? I know it's been quite a while since you've been back on Cannon Fodder, but how have you been, sir?
Come back from we went up to Wembley to watch Ed Sheeran on Wednesday with a son, and come back yesterday.
Okay, all right. And how's work? How's the children?
And
I'm very, very good, thank you. I'm happy to be sharing this time with my friends.
It's good, and kids are good.
Okay, good. Eltel, the original Godfather. How are you?
I'm back from my sojourn in Ireland. Yep.
Looking a little bit deadly there, Tel.
Well, sometimes you've got to have your Al Capone by the sea. This is the sort of beach Al Capone look. And I think our transfer negotiators need a little bit of we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse kind of vibe going down there. That Edu's too nice. He's too, and that little shirt he wears, has he only got one shirt? He's always wearing the same shirt, isn't he?
It looks like my shirt, actually. I'm waiting for the second coming. Anyway. And we've got a special guest. The first lady of Cannon Fodder TV. It could be Ange. How are you? Ange, can you hear us? You can't hear me. Ange?
Can you hear us, Ange?
Put on your glasses, you might hear us better.
Ange, we've got technical problems. Ange. Let's see. Oh dearie me, it's going to be one of those shows. Methinks. So what we're going to do? Let me just send her a private message. But we need to continue the show. The show must go on. Sorry about this, people. Right. Okay. I will need to send her a message. So the transfer window, or I like to call it the speculation window, is upon us. Here's a question for both you, Tel, and Richard the second. Can you name who this person is? Who is this person? Does anybody know who this person is?
He looks like Ed Stringfellow when he was 17.
Richard, do you know who
That
this
looks
person
like my
is?
dad.
Do you know?
No, as I said, he looks like my dad. Before we got old.
Oh dear. Angie, you're back. Can you hear us? No, Angie's got some audio problems. Oh my goodness. Let me send her a quick private message. Guys, just bear me a second. Well, actually, whilst I'm doing that, then we all know who this person is, don't we?
Yeah.
All right, who's that?
But that ain't my dad anyway, that's for sure.
No, it's definitely not my dad. Even though my dad says he believes.
I tell you what, though, I wouldn't mind being his son. He'd probably leave me a couple of Ferraris.
Right. So this guy here, his name is Fabio. I think he was like a quite famous male model back in the day. So Fabio Vieira.
Oh,
Now,
love it. Love it.
so any of you actually knew that Fabio Vieira was going to sign for Arsenal? Richard, had you heard of Fabio Vieira before? I've never heard of him.
Not anything to do with Arsenal, of course. I mean, that was right out of the blue. But yeah, definitely. Because I watch a little bit of, so I'd seen him a few times play. So he started playing when is it Diaz that went to Liverpool? He started playing more when he went to Liverpool. And I'd seen a few. I think it was about 3 games, 3 or 4 games he'd been in, and but that was it. But as I said, I like watching Portuguese football occasionally, especially if there's nothing else on TV to watch.
Yeah. So what about you? Have you
decent
ever heard of
stream.
Fabio Vieira?
Hey,
I'm back.
yeah, no, I hadn't heard of him, but it's interesting how the one big buy we've made so far, we kept under the counter, as it were, and before any other people got a hold of him and started trumping whatever we offered, we kind of got it done. But it did interest me. I was thinking, all these players that are going for astronomical sums, particularly Ajax, who seem to have a stranglehold on the world under 17 market. I mean, they find these guys. They've got this Martinez that we're trying to get, but they find them. He's an Argentinian. They find them when they're 16 and 17 and sort of 18. So I was looking at their scouting list. I'd never heard of any of their scouts, but they've obviously got their finger on the pulse, and they've got this guy there. I've not read about him in the English press, but the guy's name is Anthony, and he's a winger in the style of all good Brazilian wingers. But again, they found him in Sao Paulo. So I know we've got Edu, but why didn't he find this Anthony guy who's supposed to be absolutely superb? Real Madrid want him, all the big clubs want him, and it says to me that yes, we've got a scouting team, but you've got to get in there before these players are well known, because as soon as they're well known, and of course what agents are doing is once you start the ball rolling, the danger is the agent then phones up a couple of mates in the press and says to everybody, Arsenal are thinking of buying this player or that player. And then in comes that bloke at Chelsea, Rowley, is it his name is? And he goes in, as to quote Arsene Wenger, if Arsenal say 1, he say 2. So they almost don't need a scouting department. Just wait for clubs like us to identify targets and spend 6 or 8 or 10 months making sure they're buying the right player. And as soon as you put in a bid, and Arsenal don't like bidding high, so they bid low and it goes on, then they bid a bit more and it goes on. And by the time they're faffed around with that, the whole world knows. And then along comes a club with a lot more money than us and just keeps on trumping us. I hate to say that word, trump twice in a space of an hour. But, and I would have thought if I was running Arsenal, I'd be saying, yes, I'm glad you're finding these players, but stop finding them at 24 and 23, because Ajax and a lot of these teams are finding them very, very young. There is a guy today I was reading about. He's 6'4.5". He plays for, is it Lille? And he's a central defensive midfielder, which and he's 17, which Arsenal are looking at. He's a big guy. And that's the kind of age you should be looking at these players, But by the time they've got they're playing for their country, they're playing international matches. Everybody knows them. So Arsenal, I just feel so frustrated, like so many Arsenal fans do, that we seem to be finding these players when their price is quite big, and then we don't strike quickly enough, and it becomes a war of attrition. They put in a low bid, then it goes up a bit higher, and then they put add-ons. And by the time you've done all of that, somebody comes in at the moment now, that Martinez guy, Lisandro is his name. They reckon Man United want him now. So what are we doing? You've got to, if you want to go for it, you do a deal with, if the player's happy with the deal and the agent's happy, that you've got to somehow stop it leaking out into the press, because we're doing everybody's work for them.
Yeah. Angie, welcome to Cannon Fodder TV. I know we've had some problems with the audio. We've just been speaking about Fabio Vieira. I personally had never heard of him before. Had you heard of Fabio Vieira before? What do you think about the transfer business that we've conducted so far in this window?
No, not at all. Like Tommy, a total surprise.
And how would you rate the window so far?
Well, I mean, I did put on one of your podcasts that I said 8 out of 10. Mind you, I'm even umming now because as yet they haven't officially announced Jesus. But just to get our number 9, I thought that would be, that was really good. Although I genuinely believe that was such a done deal way back whenever. Because Arteta, the whole connection.
And what about Rafinha? Do you think we dodged a bullet with Rafinha, or you think we should still be going hard for Rafinha? And would he solve our problem? Do we have problems on the wing with Rafinha if he came in?
To be honest, I've never taken much notice of him. I mean, Everton's been Everton, haven't they? I mean, they were fighting for relegation. I've never taken much. I was probably looking more at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to be honest, thinking, oh gosh, is he coming to us? But yeah, I've never taken much notice of him. I mean, I'm sure he's good, but would he be the right fit for us? Well, I'm going to say no, because he don't want to come to us. He wants to go to Barcelona, doesn't he?
You're right. I am concerned why we're going after players. Oops, there's a bit of an echo here. I'm not sure why we're going after players who clearly don't want to come to Arsenal, Richard. This time last year, it was Locatelli. He didn't want to come to Arsenal. And Vlahovic, why are we seeming going after players who don't want to come to Arsenal?
Well, most Brazilians like Barcelona or Real Madrid. They like those Spanish teams. And the link to Chelsea was because they've got Champions League. That's fair enough. You don't know, and we wouldn't have put a bid in for him if we didn't get an indication off his agents that we had a chance. Style-wise, he'll suit what Arteta wants. He likes to press, and if you had him or a player like him, Jesus and Martinelli with Odegaard leading the press from behind, you'll see a lot of more high turnovers. Do we need him? We've got Pepe at the moment. We need to get rid of Pepe, of course, but another thing. But I think he would be a definite upgrade on Pepe. He's at least Champions League quality, and that's where we're aiming for, isn't it? I mean, Champions League and then Premier League titles. You've got to start getting those players in at some point.
Yeah. But do you think that, I mean, in regards to the Martinez situation, and I think maybe he's probably teetering on the verge of going to Man United, and then by the mere fact with Erik ten Hag. But do you think there should be a cut-off point as to how far we're willing to bid for X type player, Richard?
That's hard to say because at the end of the day, he's got a big contract with Ajax, and they can demand what they're waiting for United to come in, aren't they? They're just waiting for that money to come in so they can then go and do what they usually do, but buy these youngsters up, use their academy, train them up to a standard where other teams come with them. So they're in the driving seat, and if you want a player and you know he will come to you, you've got a bit. You've got like we did with White, like we did with Jesus in the end. You pay the money that's needed, and get that deal to that point.
I know literally we're still early doors in the transfer window. I like to call it speculation window. Marks out of 10 so far for this transfer window, Tel?
Well, it started well, didn't it? And I thought, here we go. We're on a 9 out of 10 job, but it's all stuttered to a halt now. We've told the clubs that we've been negotiating with that we have a deadline because we want to assemble the first team squad. Some of them are already assembled, and we're not going to leave it more than a few more days. Do you know what? It feels a little bit like what happened last year, except that was down to COVID. But we've got our newest signing with his foot in a boot because he's damaged it already in training. We can't buy the players we're trying to buy, and it's just. And I'm a bit worried. Nobody's picked this thing up, but I'm going to share something now. We went for Vlahovic earlier on in the year, 6'4". Okay, big guy, excellent in the air, mobile and left-footed. We all know that Arteta likes to balance his team with left-footers and right-footers. Okay, that was the first thing that fell apart. But he obviously had a plan that there would be what we used to call Plan B. If you can't play the ball through in those spaces from zone 14 into the box, as we call it, if you can't play those through balls, you cross the ball over, and you've got a big guy there who's going to nudge people out the way and head the ball in. So it gives you two lines of attack. You can do a Tierney and get him to cross it from near the sort of byline, or you can cross it from deep. You can do all kinds of stuff if you've got a big, tall centre forward there. Great, I thought. We're going to have a plan B. So that then failed. They've looked at Osimhen as well, who's not quite as tall. I think he's about 6'1", but he's supposed to be a big, muscular guy. And, of course, if they've got a good leap on them, that all helps. But that's cooled a bit. Goodness knows what's happened to that. And now we're gone for the small guys. Okay. So we're back to the way Klopp plays his teams with these small men, and the balls are threaded through. And since Jota's been there, he's looked a superb player, of course. So that's his style, and Pep's style is very similar. He has these little buzzy, quick forwards. They can play right wing, left wing. They can play through the centre. They can be deep line number 9, and they thread the balls through. Well, that's a tough game to thread and we've got some players who do thread the ball through well, but it seems to me that we haven't resolved that system yet. Are we going for a big guy? Are we maybe if he goodness knows how much money they're spending, but are they going to suddenly surprise us all and buy a big centre forward somewhere? I don't know. And why 6 months after trying to buy a guy that would work perfectly for a plan B, has that been dropped, and now we're going for these smaller guys, and it just I don't like it. For a man who's supposed to love his 4-3-3, and he won't adapt. He will very rarely play a 5 at the back anymore. He likes his 4-3-3. Well, as we saw last season, where are the goals coming from? Now, I'm not going to rain on this new guy's parade, Yezu or whatever they call him. But I've not been mightily impressed by him. But maybe he'll turn into an Ian Wright, good bit more coaching. He's friendly with Arteta. So let's hope we have a modern day guy there who can do what Ian Wright did, shoot with either foot, run into the channels and so on, cause havoc. But I do worry that, I don't want to see what happened last season again, where we just ran out of ideas. People did a low block, the teams defended with 5 or 4 and at the back, and then another 4 in front of them. And we just couldn't break them down. So one of the ways of doing that, of course, is to get a big target man who can create havoc in the air, and he can also knock the ball down for on rushing forwards and so on. But has that been abandoned? Why are we going for the small man game again? It all doesn't feel as though, I hate to say it, but we're kind of we seem to be abandoning one system and then going on to something else. In terms of getting all these left wingers in, I think that's a ruse. I was having a look today. You can find it on the internet. There's a list of how much different Arsenal players are being paid. Runarsson is still on our books, and he's being paid more than Saka. Isn't that mad? Isn't that absolutely... Now, obviously, they're doing that so they can say, hey, we're going to give you a big pay rise, and he's supposed to bow and scrape and say thank you very much. Well, I'll tell you now, Klopp sprinted off the dugout when we played Liverpool last season, and I was there and I watched him run across and put his arm around Saka, and they walked across the pitch together, deep in conversation. I can tell you now that if we're not very careful, Saka won't sign a new contract. And part of what's going on might have been they wanted another left winger in Rafinha, get him in, and then number one, with all the games, you can rotate your guy that's working on the right side of attack. But you've also got a ready-made somebody to step into his boots if, God forbid, one of the big clubs comes calling. So it all feels a little bit if, what, maybe, but at the end of the day, there's something seriously wrong with the way we're paying some players who are obviously can't hold a candle, shouldn't even be on the same pitch as Saka. They're paying them massive money, and Saka's standing there. He's a lovely fella. I'm sure he comes across as very young and learning the game quickly, immensely talented. I've said before, I think he could eventually be moved into central midfield, and he might be, if you like, a modern day Liam Brady, because he's got the football brain for that. Yeah, but I just worry that it's all short termism, and of course, if Arteta does make a rick of this transfer window, and we drop down the table, then the fans will be out complaining again, and then we're going round in circles. And the other thing, sorry to keep going, but I do worry, is that he's alienated a lot of people that are very influential in the game. This is Arteta. Obviously, Oba can't stand him, and Guendouzi. I mean, I wouldn't go by what Guendouzi thinks, but he's obviously alienated him. I think Saliba's been alienated. I don't know if people know this, but I'm going to tell you just a very quick one. When we allowed Saliba to go back to Saint Etienne, when we first signed him, and he was playing for, this is his home club, and they got through to the French Cup final, and the period of loan was up, and he was due back at Arsenal, but they'd got through to the French Cup final. And he said, please, Arsenal, I'm playing for my hometown club. Can I please play in the cup final? And Arsenal said no. Yeah. Now, I know he could have got injured and we wouldn't have forgiven ourselves, but Saint Etienne lost by the 1 goal. And if, I just get the feeling that there's a few players at Arsenal who don't like Arteta, and certainly Tavares. I saw Tavares give Arteta a look during one game where Arteta was ripping him to shreds on the sideline, and Tavares gave me that look you get from kids in school when you've embarrassed them in front of their friends, And if you're a teacher who does that, or anybody that's working with young people, you have lost them. They will not believe anything you say after that, because they've lost face in front of their friends. So I do worry that Arteta, I don't think he means any harm, but he's got his overbearing attitude. And I hope to goodness that it's not spreading round the game. Don't sign for Arteta. He's tricky to work with. But I hope not. But I'm beginning to wonder with all these players that get interested and then go, oh, no, maybe I won't go to Arsenal.
And you want to chip in?
I do actually. You put across some really valid points, and actually, everybody can shoot me down on this one, but I really think Tavares has potential. And yet, I remember when he got hauled off, he was not happy, but I'm pretty certain that he's moved on from that. And yes, he was played again, and we know he's very raw indoors. But I don't think personally he has an issue with the manager. Personally, I think it's more the fans, and I hate that word, but the fans have an issue with Tavares personally. And you've also said about Aubameyang. Sorry, who was the other one? All right, Saliba. I won't even go there at the moment. I won't even go there. But we know what happened with Aubameyang. It was wonderful for a time. Yeah, great for the FA Cup, and we know he played up. All right, we might not ever get the real story, but you knew there were antics going on.
But I think even before he came to Arsenal, he had a reputation of being a bit of a naughty boy. But Andrew, what I wanted to push you on actually, I know Saka wasn't supposed to be part of the discussion, but when the Man City knock or the Liverpool knock comes, is it difficult to turn down, especially when you're a youngster who's bailed us out so many times? He was player of the season last season. Do you think Saka will go if that knock comes?
I'm going to say not at the moment. They're going to give him a nice new deal. Quite rightly, he deserves, well, like you said, is the Icelandic Rinson, the one we loaned out, the goalkeeper. Yeah, why should he be on far more than Saka is? And that's probably one of our biggest issues. Yeah, he needs to get a new contract, be on good money, well, top money as best we can afford. We don't want to lose him. But equally, at the moment, he is a star. He is the star in the making, isn't he? While he's at Arsenal. You go to Man City, big rotation. They can do it. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, young players want to win trophies, don't they? And I'm looking, if you compare, maybe unfairly, Arsenal to Liverpool and Man City, who is he more likely to win the Premier League with in a short space of time? It's not Arsenal, Ange.
Short burst, then yeah, okay. It's Man City, yeah, Liverpool. They'll probably do it again this coming season. Yeah, I totally hear what you say, but I think for the moment we're pretty safe with Saka. But yeah, you've got to do the total rebuild.
Yeah.
We're good for now, but I appreciate what you're saying. A few years down the line.
So, Richard, did you want to say something quicker before going into the live chat? Richard?
Yeah. With Saka, I think the new this time, but in the cut-off, if we're not back in the Champions League and we're not competing for titles and top trophies, I think he will go. But give us a chance. Give us a chance.
But again, do you not think if that knock comes at the end of next season, the Man City knock or the Liverpool knock, it's a knock difficult to turn down, Richard?
Oh, of course it is. I mean, at the moment, we're pretty much all before them. So, and they've just improved again. But in those teams, he's not going to be playing every, and he's not going to be star man, is he? Their squad littered with star men. So, if that's a choice he's going to have to make when he comes. I mean, there are very few players nowadays that stay at a club all their life, is there? I mean, Ward Prowse was at and Noble at West Ham, and before that, Steven Gerrard. I mean, not many in recent times have been at a club their whole lifetime.
Yeah. Actually, the point I just remember what I wanted to ask Ange before we go into a live chat. Ange, all this stuff about Eddie Nketiah, 5-year deal, £100,000 a week, and the number 14 shirt. What do you think about him giving the number 14 shirt? For me, I couldn't care less. Yes.
I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite here. Yeah, I think the numbers are rather important. Sorry. Do you know what? All I can say is I've never publicly been horrible to him, but I have been a bit disappointed at times. But I'm just going to totally back Eddie now. Rock steady, Eddie. Whoop whoop. End of. Yeah. Do you know what? He could be better than Jesus. I don't care at this point. I just want someone to get the goals. Be our regular goal scorer.
Rock steady Eddie. I'm going to start using that from now. Rock steady Eddie. That's got a ring to it. Thank you, Ange. Tel, do you want to say something real quick before I go into the live chat?
Well, just saying, Terry is modelling today the latest thing that the man about town is wearing. They come in various colours. They are the latest thing to be seen around Highbury Inn. This is the Cannon Fodder hat. It's absolutely wonderful. It keeps off the sun, it keeps off the rain, and it keeps you cool. There you go.
Tell the check's in the post. Let's go into the live chat for the first time this evening. See who's joined us. I can see in numbers, there's like over 100 people watching us at any one time. Our moderator for the evening show is Ashley D. He says, hey up, Gooners. Welcome to the Friday night's live show or stream with Cannon Fodder TV and the Crazy Gang. Wow. Crazy Gang. We've got two moderators.
Hey.
We've got Static, who says, Alex and panel. Sorry, Cannon Fodder are late, but as they get older, you cheeky soul, takes longer to put the makeup on. Behave yourself. Alex, congratulations for reaching 17,000 subscribers. Thank you for that. Let's see if we can find any questions for the panel. All right, Ashley saying to Angie, I've just turned up Angie's mic now. Okay, evening everyone. There's a Arsenal Alex, and I'm not sure who's this person. Who's that person to the right of me? God,
I'm Terry's.
I saw him in Golders Green the other night.
Ange, I do apologise.
I love it.
Oh, dearie me. Oh dear. Lynn, good evening. Says Vieira is the other one Arteta. But I never heard of him before. Tamina is asking a question. When is announced on Jesus to Arsenal, Alex, please? I have no idea. All this stuff about, the sneaky somebody.
It can't be long because the
Go on, Richard.
Yeah, it can't be long because the shop again leaked the shirt number, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that suggests it's going to be sometime in the next few days.
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt? Sorry. I saw on Twitter that shirt costs £105.
Ouch.
What, Richard's one?
No.
Oh, refund.
The thing is,
£1 by more like.
Someone will pay that money. Our fan base is going to pay that money, aren't they? They're going to pay that money.
Wow.
Let's be honest. My God, all my moderators, all 6 of them are in the live chat. Good evening, Alex, and the whole Cannon Fodder TV family. Lynn goes on to say Vieira came off the bench at Liverpool and changed the game. Let's have another one here. Yeah. Lynn also goes on to say that Ajax has put the price up because of Ten Hag. And is Martinez more likely to go to Arsenal or Man United?
Oh, I don't know at this point because all the feed I was reading, it looked more our way, and then in the last couple of hours, I'm going to say it's going to go to Man U now. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah. For you, Richard, which way is he going?
It's a tough one. I mean, he's got that affiliation with Ten Hag. He knows Ten Hag, but why would we be bidding with him if there wasn't an indication that he'd come to us?
Here's one here. Yeah, a little bit tetchy. Vieira is bang average, plastic and broken waste of money. He is more injured than Tierney. So.
Yeah, I think we've got Elvis back singing a song. By the sounds of it. I don't know. I mean, by the way, I've done this because we're actually thinking of buying a guy. He plays for Benfica in Portuguese league, and his name is Alex or Alejandro, but he calls himself Alex after our illustrious leader, and his surname is Grimaldo, not Grimaldi the clown. He could be. And he's Spanish, but he's trying to become a naturalized Portuguese. And we're trying to buy him. He's about 26, 27. We're trying to buy him. He's kind of left wing back, so that Tierney's, you can rotate the people in left back because Tierney obviously can't play a full season because he plays at full pelt. So I don't know. It's all to come out in the wash. It's not looking good, as I said earlier. We are getting interested in players, and we go and do our homework from what I hear, and then it all kind of blows up in our face. So I don't know if this guy we've got is any good. He's certainly very light. He's not a big guy at all, So we live and hope. That's the magic word, hope, and we hope that we start off with a good win away at Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Monty says, Ajax have one of the best youth systems out there. As far as I can remember, they always had the best youngsters in their system. Lynn says, yes, but if we pay the price, we will get them. We do like bargain, like bargain shopping. Dearie me. Let's have a look here. Who else do we have? There's another one from Lynn who says, I think if we put the same money on the table as Chelsea, he is another player. He would have come. I keep saying Rafinha is another Saka, just much older, left-footed winger, and has had a one good season, not proven and definitely not worth the money being quoted. Ange?
Well, the biggest argument is Rafinha or whoever comes in. They are going to. I'm going to use the word backup. They're going to be a backup to Saka. He played 38 games, didn't he? And that's without what we're going to have now, which is the Europa League. So we need someone, and that's another. Who is the other person who should be bashing them up? Pepe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah.
Too pricey, actually. Well, he is too pricey already. We know that, but let's hope they've got somebody who they're going to announce who will be a good backup. But to me, that's what it'll be, a backup.
This one says, why ignore the problem areas of the first 11? Right back, RCB, CM, CDM, CM, CAM, a striker, left back. All right, that's the whole. That's like a first team, isn't it? Dear. Let's see if there's any questions. Well, John Nagisa Gunas just said, evening Gunas, sorry I couldn't join you. You're doing great. Thank you for that. The check will be in the post. All right, so let's take a quick pause for the cause. Which players do you think Arsenal need to sell, Richard? Get off the books.
Well, Lino, Bellerin, Mari, you're then going into Torreira, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, Pepe, Runason, them at least. And there's probably a few more there, possibly from the youth team as well, from the youth teams as well, but might need to go. There's a keeper there, the one under Okanowo, not him. Is the Estonian national keeper? He played, and he's already a full national for them, but he's not been on. He was on the bench 1 or 2 times last season. I can't remember his name, but maybe he needs to go as well.
Okay, I'll check out the numbers.
Maybe Suarez if we can get a decent price.
Oh, really? I thought he's been quite
because we got
decent.
He has been decent backup, but can you get something on him? And if you can get an upgrade on, then I wouldn't be addressed to selling him. You can put Saliba over. Saliba played for Marseille on the right hand of defence sometimes. Ben White, we know, can play right back. So we've got options there, and you've got this youngster, Norton Cook. He was at Lincoln last, and he's going every season. So if he has a pre-season, maybe he'll join the first team back up on that right hand side.
Tell for you, players.
Well, I mean, Richard's given a very comprehensive list, and I don't think anybody would argue with any of them. I think, as well as buying players and making a bit of a rick of that, we are certainly not very good at selling our players. I mean, you look at Klopp; he's excellent at selling. All these other teams. It's part of the game. Half of it is not who you buy, but who you sell. And we've got a rake of players there. Some of them bought under the very dubious regime of Raul Senlehi and ended up, there's something very funny went on there. I mean, I won't go over old ground, but £72 million for Pepe was totally unjustified. And now they can't shift him for even half that price. Well, you can't run any kind of business if you're buying overinflated goods and then you can't give them away for half the price. It's a total mess. We've got no under-23 coach. Kevin Betsy's gone off to pastures new. They're thinking of bringing Jack Wilshere out from the pastures and wherever he's been haunting out of the stables or somewhere and throwing him in with that. I mean, it's just a mess. The only thing I think Per Mertesacker seems to be doing a good job, and the people on the loans team seem to be well organised. But we aren't selling well. We're not selling players when they've had a few good games. You have to make your mind up early, and then when you can, when they look like they've hit a purple patch, then think about selling them so that buying clubs are interested. But what we do is we seem to wait until we've shaken whatever ability they sort of have out of them, and then you've got this empty husk of a player that everybody knows is seriously average, and then you're trying to sell him. I mean, we did get 11 million for Guendouzi, so I don't think we can complain there, but it's not good. I think we've got a continuation of a little bit of a mess up. I'm sorry to complain, and you know me, I'm normally very upbeat. But I think there are machinations going on. I'm not convinced that it's quite a balanced setup at Arsenal currently with the buying and selling. And I know Edu's doing his best, and I'm sure he's got his scouting team. But I think it's gonna stay a rocky period for Arsenal. And the fact, as Angie was saying, we've got the extra games now. So we are going to need, to rotate madly, really. We're going to do an awful lot of rotation. We've had an awful lot of injuries. I mean, we've had Tomiyasu, who was never injured before. getting continually injured. We had what's his name, the number 4 guy, getting injured, who's never been injured before. You know, we're getting players injured that have got a clean history of not being injured, and suddenly they start playing for us and miss half the season. So we've got to look at whether we're overtraining them, which is very possible. It all feels like it's, especially recently with these trying to get these players. I think if they did get that Lisandro Martinez, I think they'd play him as a defensive midfielder myself, but as a backup for centre back, because we desperately need a really good defensive midfielder there. But as I said earlier, we don't seem to know if we're going to go for a tall centre forward or small little interchanging forwards. The midfield has been a continual problem over the last 2 or 3 or 4 seasons. And our first, if you like, 4 of our defenders are good. And we've got Saliba in there as well now, 5. So, but you've got to keep them fit. And the guys that are doing all the hard running are getting injured. And I don't know if anybody spotted this, but what Klopp does is he does, although his fullbacks do an awful lot of the running and crossing, they try to, the way that they defend is they defend with their 3 forwards doing massive amounts of running. I'm quoting him now. He says, if you want to be a forward at Liverpool, you have to be prepared to do an enormous amount of running. Pep doesn't do that. He's prepared to let the opposition come into his team's midfield, and they'll mop it up there, or the defenders will. But Klopp makes the front 3 run like mad, and then the midfield 3 are running like mad. So it means that you've probably got the ball most of the time, and it's not even getting anywhere near your big 6'4" and 6'5" centre backs. And in fact, you don't ever see Matip or any of their centre backs being turned, because nobody's getting the ball near them and able to slip the ball past them. So in essence, what Klopp does is his fullbacks are wing backs. And what they do is they're only running from the halfway line forward most of the time. But with Tierney, we're getting him to belt the whole length of the pitch up and then belt the whole length of the pitch down again. Yeah. It's like a concertina, and we open up and then we close all the way back and then we open up again. And I think the 2 fullbacks are doing far too much running, just running. And that's why they're picking up injuries all the time. And as I said, Tomiyasu has a wonderful record of never being injured. And now he's suddenly getting injured. And there's too much running going on. And we're doing this, I call it the concertina. You know, everybody's up in attack, everybody's back defending, and everybody's running like mad. Well, you're going to pick up injuries if you've got people belting along at full pelt all the time. Yes. So I think he's got to be a little bit cannier with the way he organises his team. And I know, you see, a lot of good leaders are kind of one-track minded. And I think Arteta has set his stall out, but I don't think he has quite the quality of player that Pep has.
And you're a fan of Kieran Tierney, aren't you?
I am actually, yes.
Wouldn't sell him for anything.
No, because he loves being here. He's very loyal. I'm really hoping they give him a bionic knee so that he can keep going now. But he has been injury prone, and that's why, maybe I've preempted this, I can't choose him as our captain.
Yeah.
Because I hope it doesn't happen again, but it's kind of dare I say it, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. What about the players you think Arsenal need to sell before the window closes?
Well, pretty much what we've already discussed. I'm just trying to rack my brains. There's probably a few more. The young, Northern Irish lad, as I call him, Ballard. I think they got a couple of mid. Where did they get for him? I don't know.
Okay.
Daniel Ballard. Sunderland. He's gone to Sunderland. There's another one gone out alone. Can't remember his name, to be honest with you. About keepers. Arthur's meant to be going out on loan. And Carl Hines meant to be the number 3 now.
Okay.
Allegedly.
All right. Let's go back into the live chat and see who else has joined and wrap up this show. I saw something about Ezekiel Barco, left wing striker, right wing, AM, CM. He can play in all positions, well, even goalkeeper as well. Want to know who this player is? Torreira in limbo. Bellerin squad status is up in the air. Cedric, are we keeping or selling? Still so much to be done with this squad of ours. Greenie Man TV is back. Says, good evening, ladies and gents. Who's the general? Richard, who should be the general? Erdegaard.
Oh, he's got it'll be. I really should be Gabriel or Ramsdale. Tierney's not fit enough. Erdegaard's not. He's captain for the country, but I think you need somebody a little bit more, maybe vocal, with a bit more. So, and both Gabriel and Ramsdale fit that bracket for me. But
okay,
if Tierney stays fit, then give it to him because he's got the attitude, he's got the and the way he plays. But that's it, really.
Yeah. Back in the chat, we've got DW2 who says, Eltel, is Arteta's Wheel of Fortune. It changes each window.
Yeah. I've got about 5 more changes before the night's out.
John Gunnar says, Arsenal need to be careful. Saka may do the off. One more season. That knock, or these knocks, are difficult to turn down. When this window first opened, like you, Richard, I thought it was going to be good, but now I'm not so sure. What Arteta's looking for, because they can't get the players in. Richard?
It's a different one. As I said, with Rafinha, you've got Barca and Chelsea there, and if you're not going to play the money that the club wants, you're not going to be in the races. And unfortunately, with Leeds, they're in the driving seat. They've said 65 million. Chelsea have said, yeah, they dumped that cash up. We didn't.
Yeah,
quite simple. If we match that, would Rafinha come to? Very likely, because otherwise, why would we have been for him in the first place? It's just down to, do we think he's worth that sort of money? Do we, with a Pepe thing, we got stung once. Are they a bit wary of being stung again?
Yeah. I get asked this question more often than not about world-class players in this current squad. Ange, do we have any world-class players in this current squad?
Ooh. Well, if we can actually announce him, then it's got to be Jesus. Next. Yeah, we do. He's in the making. Saka.
All right.
And you need to put on a light or put another shilling in the meter or something. It's gone very dark.
Sorry. I'll get up and put the light on.
Tell. Oh, meanwhile, let's
days.
Continue the live chat.
Ace
says, if Saka left, he'd be used like another Chamberlain. Yeah, but he would be a Champions League winner, isn't it? And a Premier League winner. Right, Ange.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's better.
Okay. What else do we have here? Right. Why is this person mentioned that Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Martinelli also has Martinelli been alienated?
Might have been. I mean, Ainsley is, but I would imagine it's quite easy to upset him. But yeah, I do worry that Arteta's got a funny kind of a manner, and he doesn't brook any interference, you know. So I don't know. I do worry. I think I don't know if you've got a boss that's a little bit inexperienced, then they can rub people up the wrong way very quickly. So he's got to learn. And we all knew we were getting Arteta probably one job too soon. But let's hope he's made all his mistakes and he's learnt a bit about man management, and just goes a little bit easy. You've got to, you know this, Alex. You work with children and that. You've got to treat everybody different. Yes, you have rules that apply to everybody, but some people need a G up. Some people need an arm around their shoulders. You know, some people need a quiet word, not in front of anybody. And I just want to see a harmonious dressing room. And you know, we've had all the stories. Funny enough, once players leave, it's interesting the stories they sort of tell you. Anybody who's from my vintage, I found out a story recently when we signed Alan Ball. This was after the double in '71. We signed Alan Ball, so he'd won the World Cup in '66 with England. And apparently, we had a captain called Frank McClintock. And apparently, the reason why he left was because when we signed Alan Ball, we paid him so much money that he used to come the sort of big I am in the dressing room. And Frank McClintock took umbrage and broke a chair over Alan Ball's back.
Oh, wow.
And Arsenal sold him. So it makes you wonder what's going on in the dressing room. We've alienated Oba. Ainsley, as I say, probably is very easy not to alienate him, but because I think he sort of runs on a short fuse himself. But I just worry that it doesn't look like a happy camp, and especially if we're getting players. I'm not taking this stuff. I keep hearing about we want Champions League. This is baloney. If you pay them enough money, like they paid Cristiano Ronaldo, he will go to whatever club, you know, wants him. You know, he went to Man United without a Champions League. They follow the money. Just get in there quick, pay them the money they're asking, and don't keep bidding so low that other teams are alerted and then just pop in a slightly higher bid. Get your act together, and while you're getting the buying team going, get the selling team organised. You've got to sell better, because all you're doing is buying the Pepes of this world, and then you're kind of lumbered with, as we were with Ozil.
Yeah. Do you know what? We've actually come to an end. I did say, I want to try and finish this one inside an hour, and we're just been running 56 minutes and some change. I want to say a big thank you to Angie. Angie, it's the first time, and hopefully it won't be the last time, that we'll see you on Canon 4A TV. The first lady of Canon 4A TV.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Richard, a second. Richard, again, always a pleasure.
Right,
we're hoping
Alex,
once the season is back in full effect, I'll start to do, of course, the Canon project on a Monday evening, and the flagship show, the Easy Talk, on a Friday. And no doubt you'll be seeing Richard back again. And last but not least, Tel, how many hats do you have, Tel?
Well,
how many hats do you have?
You actually started me on this. You kept saying, "I've got this hat you could have, and you can put a hat on, and you'll be the bee's knees." And now I can't stop buying them, And I must say, I've just seen Gary come on from New Jersey, and it's good to know you're alive and kicking over there. And I'm sorry I was a bit downbeat today. I don't mean to be, but it is frustrating when you can see Arteta trying to build an ideal team, and he's been with us 2 or 3 years now, so he's got to the stage where he's got to push out a good team next season, and I don't want him to go. I think he's trying to do his best, and I think he's hopefully a good tactician. But so let's keep it upbeat. And let's hope we have a good pre-season. I think they've given the deadline about a week away for bringing in new players. So hopefully they'll get a couple of things over the line. And I think our defence isn't bad, actually. I'm not too worried about that. But midfield and attack, We still need some work, and especially breaking down, pack defenses. But let's keep it upbeat. I'm sure Arteta's got all kinds of interesting tactical plans up his sleeve. A big hello to Tim Hogan over there in County Clare. And County Clare are in a big semi-final tomorrow against the old enemy, Kilkenny. So let's hope the team that play in Arsenal's change colours win.
Fantastic. And that's it. The next time you will see me will be, not for a few days. I'm giving myself a break after this live show. I'm cracking. But anyway, guys, I hope, again, in the live chat, there was just so many comments I literally just couldn't get to. There was over, I think, 100 any one time watching all of us just gas on about Arsenal. So that's it. Enjoy yourselves. Until then, this has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans, literally all over.